Now, the White House Correspondents Association is using its power in the briefing room to shut out any journalists who don't report the news like they see it. One America's Pearson explains.
The White House Correspondents Association has a long history, going back over a century, and was founded by journalists to protect the freedom of the press and ensure the American people would always know the truth. How times have changed. These days, the seats are held by members of the Big Six, media giants like Comcast and ABC, but it wasn't always that way. The association was created back in 1914 to prevent a congressional committee from deciding which journalists could attend the briefings. Back then, members of the association knew they had a duty to report the truth and respect not only the briefing room, but the office of the presidency. That's not the case anymore, as they shout abuse at the press secretary, abuse at the president, and even abuse at their fellow reporters, like One America's Chanel Rion.
Take one last question, Stephen.
About police-involved shootings. Is the president aware that this is about police-involved shootings and not about disrespecting the flag?
Simply for reporting on a connection between China and the coronavirus, Chanel's seat was revoked by the Correspondents Association, and she's been left to stand at the back of the room, behind a rope, up against the wall. This is from the same organization that still made sure there was a seat in the briefing room for several reporters that push propaganda for the communist Chinese government. And then, of course, there's the radical left's obedient little lapdog, Jim Acosta, barking at Sarah Sanders with all the journalistic integrity of a network that's kept digging long after hitting rock bottom.
Repeatedly, the media resorts to personal attacks without any content other than to incite anger. The media has attacked me personally on a number of occasions, including your own network, said I should be harassed as a life sentence, that I should be choked. ICE officials are not welcomed in their place of worship, and personal information is shared on the internet. When I was hosted by the Correspondents Association, of which almost all of you are members of, you brought a comedian up to attack my appearance and call me a traitor to my own gender. In fact, as far as I know, I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection.
But she's not the only one, and now our own Chanel Rion needs protection as well. And finally, the famous White House Correspondents Association dinner, where the association pays its respects to the press secretary.
Every time Sarah steps up to the podium, I get excited because I'm not really sure what we're going to get. You know, a press briefing, a bunch of lies, or divided into softball teams.
The downfall of the association is perfectly clear when you consider that despite claiming to support scholarships for journalists, the association blows about 85% of its yearly fundraising budget on its annual dinner party, the prestigious event you just saw. And they're doubling down this year. Even though the dinner has been postponed, the association is giving the honors of hosting the show to famous anti-Trumper Hassan Minhaj, who says he hates President Trump so much he refuses to even say his name. These are the people representing the Correspondents Association. But not only does the association control the seats in the briefing room, they also control who gets a dedicated reporting space from the White House North Lawn. OAN has repeatedly requested property to set up our own reporting space going all the way back to 2016, but without any response from the association. So while MSNBC and the rest of the gang report comfortably from their reporting pavilions, OAN and Chanel are literally left standing out in the rain. This is an organization with absolutely no respect for President Trump, the White House, or what it represents, and no concern for delivering the truth. And right now, they have a monopoly on the briefing room. The association has devolved into nothing more than an insiders club of the who's who in the radical left. But One America News, Breitbart, Epoch Times, John Solomon, or any other media outlets that want to get real news to the American people deserve the same opportunities to share a civilized space for reporting from the White House. It's high time the association was brought back to its roots so the American people could finally have confidence they're being represented by a free press in the most important building in the world. As long as the Correspondents Association is allowed to deny OAN and Chanel Rion a seat and pick and choose which cronies can report the news they approve of, then they're allowed to hold freedom of the press hostage at the back of the room, behind a rope, and up against the wall. For One America News, I'm Pearson.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.